Good afternoon, it's Paul here and welcome to the follow-up video from my first one, Mutiny on HMS Bounty. What we have here is the Bounty mutineers have now landed on an island called Tubuai, I think that's the way it's pronounced, and they landed here with the intention of setting up a new colony and living out the rest of their lives, and unfortunately, like the Bounty mutiny, didn't quite go according to plan. So what we have here is their open launch, and they've landed on the island of Tubuai. I think that's the way you pronounce it. If I've got that wrong, someone will tell me. And they set up a plantation here where they set up a fort, and they called it Fort George. Not sure if they were trying to appease the King George himself, but here they lived, and they took one of the guns off the ship. The reason that they had to do that was because they were constantly harassed by the local population who didn't particularly want them there, and Fletcher Christian had to lie to them. They'd met Captain Cook 10 years before, so they knew who he was. Although Cook didn't land, they saw him as kind of like a god. So when Fletcher Christian arrived, initially it was with skepticism, but eventually that they tried to trade with them, and again the locals were having none of it, and in the end they ended up ejecting them after 8 weeks, and here they are harassing them, and all the mutineers wanted to do was farm. But of course, the differences that led to the mutiny were now starting to appear on Tubuai, where they started to fight amongst themselves, question each other's authority, and it kind of like wasn't going well for them at all. And here we have a swivel gun in the corner of the fort. Again, the natives, I think, as I said, it took them 8 weeks before they decided they'd had enough, and they completely abandoned the fort. And the remaining crew that decided that they didn't want any more part of it and would want to take their luck with the British if they ever returned, were dumped back on Tahiti briefly, and as I said, Fletcher Christian went off to Pitcairn. Now what we've got here is the coconut trees. Quite a good technique with those, with the 1x1 singular plates, plant plates, and then we've got the inverted tan bush and the leaves on top. Again, if you want to know more about how to make those, I can do a quick tutorial on that for you. And again, on the beach, we've got the turtles from the minifig series, and in they go to the water. Again, someone else has a idea, a little shark fin there homing in on them. The island of Tubuai, apparently they were plagued by rats, and there's rats here, and again, I think there's a few rats in the Fort George there. And then they're cooking an egg from the chickens that they kept, and some ship's biscuits, and I imagine it wasn't particularly nice conditions on there. They had to dig a moat around the fort, and like I said, they had to guard it 24 hours a day, and in the end they split the crew, half on the ship, half on the island, and that was the only way they could really guarantee their security. Incidentally, when they landed on Tubuai, they murdered quite a significant amount of natives in the water. They blew them out the water with from their canoes with their pounder guns. So that was renamed Bloody Bay after that, and it's still known as Bloody Bay today. So yeah, there we are. And we've got the nice blend of plates on the beach there, again with some wildlife. And again, unfortunately for the local people on Tubuai, after the Bounty mutineers left, they left their legacy. Unfortunately, the British, they left disease there, and they decimated the population from about 3,000 to 300 within a decade. So, you know, the legacy from the Mutiny Mutineers was lasting. Again, there's a snake of some sort there homing in on the chickens. Again, to see who gets there first, the natives or the boa constrictor. And then we've got some pigs again being farmed in there. And there we are. Again, the access to the fort was by a drawbridge, and they had to keep that closed all the time again because the natives were on their case. And then with the use of the droid arms there on the roof, I first used that, I think it was about 2014 when I did Rorke's Drift. I did the roof of that with droid arms. It's quite a good technique, very effective. It looks quite rugged, and that was the idea on it. And again, so there we are. Thanks for watching. If you like it, please subscribe. I'll upload another video in a week or so. Next week I think we'll do HMS Guerriere or the USS Constitution. Let me know in the comments which one you want, and we'll go from there. Thanks for looking.